By the conclusion of first test, it seemed like the men in blue had their blues gone away, forgetting their embarrassing loss against New Zealand at home. But that wasn't the case following the next test match in Adelaide. The pink ball, well, has been a nemesis for them for quite some time now, and this time around was no exception as well. With a ravishing 100 by Travis Head, the Indian bowler seemed very clueless, and once again, India finds himself under a conundrum of questions. Welcome everyone, and welcome to yet another segment to Toast the Toss. This is me, your host Sanskar, and with us we have five finalists today, including myself. We have Tejas making a comeback after a very long time. Welcome back, Tejas. It's so good to see you.
Thanks,
Uh,
Sanskar. It's nice to be here.
okay, we have Vinayakam as well. We have Oreo and we have Aditya. Gentlemen, where do we start off today? Quite a few questions today, and not an easy day for Indian cricket because our men were at the receiving end, our women's team, not too far off, were at the receiving end as well. And coming back to Asia, our juniors losing that all crucial finals to Bangladesh. Where are the where are we lacking? Where are our glory days? Playing,
I wouldn't read, sorry,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I wouldn't read too much into the Adelaide loss. I mean, pink ball is still a novelty. It is still something that we do not play regularly with. And I for one, I mean, yes, it would have been good to break that jinx as well of not winning in Australia, United Day Night, and all those things. But I don't want to read too much into it. We made Australia made a lot of mistakes in Perth. We capitalized on that. They were on the point here, and we suffered. Yes, we could have done better, but eh, like Australia bounced back, we will be able to bounce back. Is my belief. Brisbane is going to be a new game for us.
Yeah, I think the loss by itself is all right, but what was more alarming is we never competed in the game, barring that face of play between KL Rahul and Gill, that partnership. Besides that, we were never in the game. It's okay that we lost, but and even with the ball, it is only Bumrah who and I'm just worried that we shouldn't bowl him into the dust. Shami will make a comeback maybe for Thanksgiving, the Boxing Day test. Sorry, not the Brisbane test. So with both the ball and the bat, we were completely outplayed. They show those session charts on Hotstar. That graphic looked pretty green. So that was more alarming than the loss itself.
So
How green was it? I just wanted to ask Aditya, was it greener than the our fanelist? Because everyone, barring me and Sanskar, everyone is in green. See how the loyalties change overnight, Sanskar.
I went with a 4-1 prediction before the series. I got one already. So,
Yeah.
that's the introductory song, right? So रिश्तों के भी रूप बदलते हैं.
I mean, loss definitely is concerning. More than that, I think, apart from that second innings in Perth, right, our batting still looks a little undercooked, if I can use that word. And I think few of the dismissals were a little concerning. I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Our number 4, who seems like a walking wicket these days, no doubt. But what's more concerning, I think the second innings dismissal was still fine with him, but the first innings, how he got out, not able to play against good bounce, which he was always good at, is a little bit concerning. So number 4 and number 5 or number 6 in this scenario, I think that's more concerning than the loss or anything else. To be honest, I think if we go constantly in with 9 players in the team, I know I'm being harsh here, but if we do that, I don't think we'll be winning a lot of matches or series. that's a bit of concerning thing for me.
Yeah, there are two elephants in the room. That's the problem. I think that's what Sanskar is also hinting at.
Yeah, yes, yeah. No, I mean, I'd rather give Rohit a little bit of benefit of doubt. It's never easy to come in and not, have a lot of practice and play against pink ball, although he looked woefully out of form. But I'm more concerned about Kohli because, I mean, in his prime, right, he plays well on bouncy pitches. Bounce was never a problem for him, but the way he got out in the first innings, just not that doesn't paint a good picture. So yeah, hopefully he comes back.
I'm glad you brought that up, Tejas, because I wanted to bring up two things here. One pertaining to Kohli and one providing a larger picture of pink ball performance of India. With Kohli, what has been slightly uncharacteristic for the better part of this year has been him very adamant on, playing front foot and not leaving that fourth stump, fifth stump ball as much because it's been for a while now. What could be the possible reason behind that? Only Kohli can answer that because, you know, if you're taking so much hit for so long, a natural instinct of every batter would be that, you would rather respect that ball. You would probably swallow your ego a bit and, let go of that ball because I'm not sure. I think it was Harbhajan who made a valid point. Sometimes leaving a ball is a sign of a positive intent in Test cricket. Uh, I think we have discussed that even in the New Zealand series, India just didn't trust their defense enough, and it seemed like that was the case in pink ball, which brings me to my second point. If you were to just see the bigger picture of pink ball tests in India, I think barring the maiden test match with pink ball against Bangladesh, none of their victories have been very convincing because uh the right after the Bangladesh one, you had this one against Australia where that infamous 36 happened. Then you had one game against England and Ahmedabad where again it was a ranked turner. You ended the game within 2 days. No source of entertainment, nothing, no contest at all. Out of nowhere, sorry, not Akshay, Akshar Patel becomes an overnight star in that particular test. Then you had Sri Lanka and Bengaluru again, not a competing contest, but again, even there, India got out pretty cheaply. It was a low-scoring affair, and then you come to this particular test. So it suggests that India is still not very competent or doesn't find itself very comfortable with pink ball. And if pink ball is the norm in the coming days, we don't have answers to that, which is a bigger sign of concern.
So, Sanskar, I will add over here. I did go and witness one of those tests, India versus Sri Lanka, and it did not seem like a test match. Everyone was, it seemed more like the entire crowd, everyone seemed to be enjoying a T20 match. The DJs going full blast and all that. I did not find that there was any patience with anyone. So it was more like it seemed more of an exhibition match than a proper cricket match. And speaking about, I I I think that was done in a very with a way to get people attend the matches and all that, but I don't think so that it's doing any justice to the game. And if matches get over within 2 3 days, I do not think that helps the cause of the game or that helps the uh, sustain the interest of fans like us.
Exactly. That is exactly. Thank you, Oreo, for making that point because if you have to bring fans in, I mean, I don't think you have the need to do that in an India Australia series or England Australia series. Use that for your any series where you don't have people coming in. Pakistan, I don't know. I think Pakistan Australia also has a good following, but any of the series where you don't have a sold out venues, you get them for that. The the sanctity of the game. I don't think. I mean, maybe I'm sounding too purist here, but the red ball is where we should be focusing on. Hence, this may be a defense mechanism of coping with the loss, but I am not reading too much into the loss today.
Yeah.
Well, gotten that out of the way, I mean, we can discuss the merits of having a pink ball test, whether it should continue or not. Maybe that's a separate topic by itself. But in this series, I expected us to be 2-0, given that it was Perth and the pink ball. So given that we are 1-1 and we are heading to Brisbane, where we have competed in the past, Ganguly made that famous century all those years ago. So will Rohit Sharma follow cue and play captain's knock? Should he just play aggressively? That's what he's done in ODI cricket. He used to have a very good defensive technique when he scored those runs in England, and I think he's lost that game. He's not able to trust his defense at all. So should he just, think and go on the aggressive option, and maybe it'll come off.
And now there were questions if, Rohit should just take claim of his opening spot again. But again, where does that leave KL Rahul in the whole mix? Like I said, a lot of questions were asked after this loss. So what do you guys think? Does KL do they need to stick with KL Rahul with the opening, or maybe just mix and match again?
And it's a
Yeah, I
tough
think
one.
KL did his job. Sorry,
Yeah,
Tejas, go for it.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing, right? I mean, I for one thought that Rohit will be back at the top. I mean, knowing Indian cricket and having watched it for like better part of two decades, right? Captain comes back. Yeah, he's at the top wherever position he used to bat. Uh, but KL, of course, did his job as they just mentioned, right? Even in the first innings, I think he probably looked like our best batsman, if I'm not wrong. Uh, and it was his dismissal for me was probably the turning point of the game as well. It's a tough one with Rohit. I mean, it's a little too much to ask for, so that I mean he can sit one game out and then maybe we can have Jurel in again at 5, because from whatever I've seen, he's short on fitness, he's short on match practice. It's Australia. I mean, you are facing the best bowling attack in the world. Rather than position Sanskar, I'd probably go ahead and say then you ask him to just sit out. Maybe I really don't see any. I know I'm being a little harsh here, but I really don't see him adding any value to the 11, as well as our number 4, of course. But again,
But
it's
Yes.
the intimidatory factor or whatever that way he plays. But yeah, I really don't really see Rohit adding any value. So I probably will have him sit out the next game.
Yeah.
Sanskar, I had also meant in the last episode, I made the statement that I do not see Rohit Sharma in the team. And now that Tejas has also mentioned that, but the question arises, if not Rohit Sharma, which youngster would you go ahead? Would it
Dhruv
really
Jurel.
be
I mean,
Dhruv
it's a
Jurel?
no-brainer. Jurel for me. I watched those, the A games with proper interest. I think the way that he batted, it goes to show. I mean, I would go ahead and say he can be the future Indian number 5. I mean, even number 4 if he steps up a bit. At least number 5 as a pure batter. I think Jurel is there. I think he'll
Tejas,
add a lot more.
let's make it more spicier for you. If we are dropping both Kohli and Rohit Sharma, of course, will be replaced by Jurel. Who will replace Kohli?
Uh,
that
I mean,
Would you go
he'll
with Devdutt Padikkal or
No, not now anyway. And sorry to break anyone's heart, even Sarfraz also doesn't make it to the top 4.
yes?
I think it has to be Shubman Gill, and we have to find someone at number 3. I think Gill is much better at number 4 than number 3. We need a proper defensive batsman at number 3, which we have to might have to go back to
you're bringing
cricket
up
and then search
I-
for one. But yeah, number 4 will be Gill. I think he's definitely there. He should be the next number 4.
maybe consider bringing Vihari or Pujara.
No. Let's not open that book again. No.
So
I don't.
so while this is great for like to go on a what if route, I don't see Kohli or Rohit being dropped this series. Okay, let's face it, that's not going to happen. I see it as a transition series. I would hope that this is the last series and they make way for the others, even if it is Sarfaraz, even if it is Jurel, whoever comes in. I mean, even if they make mistakes and fail, it would be with a goal to make them better and stronger for the future. And
But
that's where
Vinayak, why next series? Why wait for the next series? Let's start it from the next test match, right?
I'm just asking. I'm just seeing. I'm just seeing this very practically. This is not going to happen. People of the stature of Rohit and Kohli are not going to be dropped mid-series. It's not going to happen
Yeah, it's
in
not going
Indian cricket. It's not going to happen in any form, any country. Forget about. I'm not even. This is not an Indian cricket thing. I don't see a player of that stature being dropped even in Australia, New Zealand, whichever country you take it. They are not going to do that. Okay, while it's good for discussion, we can, I mean, to rake in the views, we can definitely talk about it and say that this is there. I think Sanskar has a point. He might have a data point as to somebody was being dropped in between also. So yeah, Sanskar, please.
And it's a very recent memory. Babar Azam and Shaheen were dropped from Pakistan.
Let's not talk about Pakistan because what they do, only they do. That is, I mean, that I mean, it's the exceptions prove the rule kind of a scenario. I think Pakistan is the
Pakistan are
exception to
outliers, Sanskar.
always,
Yeah.
always.
No, I do agree with Vinayak. Of course, they'll not be dropped. There is no question about it. It just feels that we are putting the series in jeopardy. It's just
It
as
is.
I'm a little disappointed with that fact. Apart from that, yeah, we all know they're not going to be dropped for sure.
Yeah, I was chatting with Aditya yesterday, and the before the series, my thought was Kohli and Rohit making a decent amount of runs and going on a high. You know, saying bye on a high, and that would have been the ideal scenario because I'm a big Kohli fan in
Yeah,
Test series,
same.
especially in
Who,
Test.
no,
It's
who
like the
is it?
passion.
Who is
Exactly,
it?
the passion comes through, right?
But I will be honest with you, Vinayak. I don't see Kohli leaving in another 1 or 2 years.
No, no,
He will be there.
no. Dropping. I mean, if it has to be dropped, if they have to be dropped
No, I don't think
unceremoniously,
so.
also.
I don't think so. BCCI will drop someone of the stature. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. So we were talking about dropping them for the next test. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
if that has to happen, it will. There is a chance, at least, of it happening after the series. If we lose this, say 4-1 now, okay, and the other losses are also as bad as Adelaide, and the batting performances are as bad as Adelaide, then
But,
I see a reason for overhaul.
but more than their form, what concerns me is that no one wants to be patient. Like yesterday, when they returned to bat, it seemed, except barring the opening partnership, everyone seemed to be in some sort of a hurry to just gift their wickets and run away.
But isn't that true? Sorry to cut you again. But isn't that true with the Australian team also? Even Head
No,
was the. I mean, before Head got in and went away, took the match away. If Head had fallen, sorry, that's like a if the Head had fallen, then the Australian series and the Australian innings would have been at a different
no.
juncture.
If you
I agree.
see Max Sweeney and the other guy, Marnus Labuschagne, they played a gem of an innings. The way they played, that was really good. And then, because the strong base was set, they went ahead. Then Travis Head came and he had those decent partnership with others. But the Indian batting lineup was like, okay, Tata, bye bye, Horn, okay, please. They were in some sort of a hurry.
No, I mean, I can't fault tactics, to be honest. I think it was going on well. And if you see the big wigs, they got out playing their defensive shot. I mean, it was not, against Poland, especially against Poland, right? The normal, as I think Sanskar mentioned the other, I think someone mentioned, I don't remember. Sanskar mentioned maybe, being orthodox was not working against them. I think the plan was good. It is just that, you couldn't execute it properly. And, still the two of the, biggest batsmen in, this current Indian setup, if they couldn't adapt to it, then, yeah, I mean, that's the execution fault. I think the strategy was pretty okay.
I mean, they were averaging at the run rate of 5 per over.
Oh,
So
yeah.
does that the column had 4 wickets,
Yeah.
100 for 4 at 20. So
And then maybe the idea was to, wipe off the deficit as quickly as possible when the ball is new, and then, when, it is quite hard. And later point of time, you can build the innings. And, KL and Jaiswal, all those guys are naturally, quite good at attacking cricket. So I don't really fault the tactics. I actually loved it. But yeah, it's just that, you couldn't execute it properly, then yeah, you can't do much there.
With Rohit and Kohli, it's very easy to, keep harping about them. They're big players for us and they are not performing. But I'm more concerned about the lack of support for Bumrah. It almost seems like play spell out and then you're good. And even in Australia's first innings, Usman Khawaja got out the last ball of the Bumrah spell. And McSweeney had a drop catch, and that too of Bumrah's bowling. And Siraj nor Rana was penetrative, and Nitish Reddy is a more a batting all-rounder, it seems like. So, and with Shami definitely not being there, I don't know what Akashdeep is going to do. That's a bigger concern because Australian batting also has enough chinks in the armor. Labus Khakni has scored a 60, but he is still tentative. Like Kohli did score a century, but I wouldn't say he's back to form. McSweeney is new. Khwaja is, scraping around. Smith is scraping around. But do we have it? Because Bumrah can bowl what, a 6-7 hour spell at max. You play him out and then you're good. You can set yourself up for a big score. So that seems to be a bigger concern for me.
And it's not like,
Concern.
Shami comes back and he's the magic bullet. No, he hasn't played Test cricket for like a year now. I know he has played around 70-20 games in 14-15 days. I agree. I did watch couple of the smart matches. He was not even finishing his run-ups. Maybe he's saving himself for the Test cricket. I'm not so sure. But he's not the magic bullet. Even if he comes in at MCG, if he's not up to the rigors of Test cricket, he won't play. Right, and the only two guys we have is Prasidh and Akashdeep. I think Akashdeep is anyway the favorite to replace Rana in the next match. But yeah, a valid point, Aditya, actually. It is flown a bit under the radar because, we did win in Perth, and batsmen again stole the limelight for all the wrong reasons this match. But yeah, I totally agree with you. There's no one else. Siraj, I think, Siraj for me bowled well. I can't say that he didn't. But yeah, the third seamer, Rana was clueless.
Siraj did bowl well, but I'm talking about the threat. Because
Yeah,
if you look
yes, yeah.
Australia, Cummins, Stark and Boland and Hazelwood should be back
to put things in perspective,
for the
Australia
next
wins over
game are all threats. Siraj,
Think Aditya stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aditya, some issues with your connection.
But I think just to like circle around his point, right? Australia weren't losing sleep if they missed out on Hazelwood for this one test. For us, we are tentative from day one. If not Bumrah, then who? That's the kind of situation we are in, and I think that's where Australia is edging past India because they have effective bowlers. It's not like we Indian bowlers are bowled bad lengths, but one, barring Bumrah, they're not as threatening. Two, our batsmen are just more tentative at this point, more than Aussie batters. So that's where the pendulum is swinging more in Australia's favor, even though they had that bad test at Perth. But having,
Sanskar,
yeah,
there's one more thing you highlighted. The last 2 points you highlighted out were really good. But there's one thing we are really forgetting that, like, because we have Tejas and Adit in the house, it is very important to be nice. You don't go and irk someone like the stature of Stark saying that you ball slow and he takes 8 wickets. If practically he finished off the team, so that I think all said and done, you can come out with all the analysis of where Indians failed, but whatever Yashasvi did, that turned things around for us. So, any views on that, Tejas and Vinayakam and even Aditya?
No, I personally loved it. I think all these years we've been taking from them. I think it's a bit of time that we give it back to them as well. Of course, it did fire up Stark, and he bowled perhaps the best spell of the Test match, right? Taking 6 wickets.
One thing we should consider that the biggest ledger is in Stark's house.
Yes, Miss Alyssa, yeah, of course. Why not? No, it also brought a little bit of color to the actual BGT series, right? I mean, it was a little too friendly these days. You don't really get that that rivalry where in your face kind of thing. It added. I mean, this is good sledging. Based on skill. It's not on someone's relation or someone's body or all those things, right? No body shaming or anything. It's just about cricketing skills, and I absolutely loved it. For a 22-year-old to say that to Stark, it's and after hitting a six, so that's a really good thing for me. I absolutely loved it. I have no issues with that.
So they just certified sledging this is. So
With respect to cricket, I don't really mind. I mean, you can talk anything about cricketing skills. I'm absolutely
absolutely.
fine.
Nice guy.
And
No.
I completely agree, and that was nicely done. Contrast to that would be the Siraj head thing that has happened, controversy that has happened now. I mean, I don't mind that actually. It is apparently head said something, and Siraj reacted. It has come out, and the Australians are masters at deflecting. So we would not know, nobody is going to know what has actually transpired there, what did Head say, and what did Siraj respond. It's part of the game, and these are, even if Siraj did a FO to Head without provocation, that's pretty lame in today's day and age with the kind of cricketing behavior that is on display. I don't think they need to make any big hoo-ha about it. Some spices needed, and this is fantastic.
I don't think this is anything compared to what used to happen in the 90s. That social media just blows up things out of proportion these days. Siraj giving a send off to Head was perfect. Of course, Head had scored 140, so it's not as if they had dismissed him cheaply. Timing of it can be questioned, but what he did was perfectly fine. I would, in fact, want a little bit more spice. And what happened between Bumrah and Labuschagne, and Bumrah was just taken off. At that, I would have loved to see another couple of overs of Bumrah to Labuschagne at that point in time to see how that brewed out. So I don't mind this at all. And social media just blows up things. It becomes meme, and they just take clips, parts of clips which sounds controversial, and then they put it out, which makes it sound. And between Siraj and Head might have been communication problem also. He might have said well bowled Siraj by, so he might not have understood it. I don't know, but that's okay. It's perfectly fine. I don't want a friendly India-Australia series. That's boring to watch. Even if it is losing, at least with these moments, I have some entertainment happening.
No, I mean, in professional cricket, I think no one is a saint. I mean, you can talk about a lot of people, but I don't think anyone is a saint, and no one should be also. You're there to win. Of course, you're giving you 100%.
Australian crowds have not stepped in. Once they step in, it's going to be a different ball game altogether. Virat Kohli starts flashing his fingers again. That would be fun to watch.
No, I think already.
I don't endorse that though. Finger
I think
is not done.
The crowd already got into the action. I think while Siraj was fielding at the boundary line, he was heckled.
Oh, they've
No,
got
that's
it
classic
right.
Australia. I mean, this is the Australia that we know. I mean, this is how
Yeah,
champions.
they have always been bullish.
Yeah. I mean, this is how champions are made, right? From Ranatunga to our 2021 team itself, when Siraj was heckled.
Teams in yellow uniform tend to behave like that.
I mean, that's how you play well against them. The next time you go over there, you will be treated like a king, like how Kohli is treated right now. No, yeah, I mean it's classic Australia, and I absolutely love it.
But one thing that's not coming under the radar is the DRS mismanagement, or rather misinterpretation or whatever you want to name it, something that's not coming under radar, technology not utilizing or not helping the cause of third umpires, or is it being projected that way? Some speculate that all of this is being done on purpose and happening, and it's been happening for a while now. We've seen flashes of that in 2007. Of course, that was on field, and this is by a third umpire, so a lot of differences there. But the quality of umpiring is something which needs to technology is something which needs more attention rather than this uh like petty controversies like Siraj and Head. What do you guys think?
Technology can never be 100% is what my personal opinion is. I mean, there's just, I mean, there is no perfect algorithm. That's the belief that I have. So it is there to help, individuals to make certain decisions, and it always depends on the interpretation of the individual themselves. If I take KL Rahul's thing as well, right? Simon Toffel said it is out. He is probably the best umpire I've seen in my lifetime. He says it's out, it's out. Or rather, majority will feel so. So, and also this controversy of not having hotspot. I was reading why hotspot is not one. It is expensive, and the second thing is it is considered as military equipment. So you're not. I mean, majority of the countries will ban it, or you can't use it in them. So I feel it's okay. I mean, it is doing its job. I think a couple of decisions go here and there. That used to happen before as well. I feel we are okay with DRS. I think yeah. I mean, we were at the receiving end with KL Rahul's thing, but yeah, I feel like on a whole, I think it has helped the game. So I don't really see have an issue.
Were I specifically brought this up because of the Mitchell Marsh decision as well. That's why, because if it was just a KL Rahul one-off thing, then yes, I would have said it's a one-off thing and we shouldn't read too much into it. But this has happened again, and this time you chose to give benefit. I mean, you chose to give benefit of doubt to Mitchell Marsh. You didn't choose to give benefit of doubt to KL Rahul. I'm not sure why there are two different decisions made in similar scenarios. That's where my
No,
change.
just one point for me. I mean, if we start relying on, umpiring decisions, then we are not a good team. I think we should be good enough to, have those wicket-taking opportunities over and over again. We are that good a team. So I don't really feel that, one decision should change the outcome of the match. If we rely on that, then we are not a good team. So that's really fine according to me.
So 2 points here on technology. So one, technology was brought in to eliminate the howlers, like Andrew Simons nicking off and then not walking. So the 50-50 calls will always be subject to interpretation of the respective umpire. And I think we should be okay with that, unless if you cannot possibly account for every possible situation and then have a protocol for that. And second thing, Mitchell Marsh did do us a favor walking off when he didn't nick the ball. So I think it sort of evened out. And Tejas' point hit the nail on the head. If you're really harping about these points, uh, I think the focus should be on playing better.
So, getting to Brisbane, right? We spoke about Rohit Kohli and all. Let's take a realistic look at it. What are the changes that we see? There was an interesting comment made by, I think, Warner and Vaughan, who is a known provoker, that though the batsmen have failed us, the changes would be there primarily in the bowling setup, right? So, what are your thoughts? I mean, I see Akashdeep coming in. I don't see any batsman being changed because that's how we are, right? I mean, it's not going to happen. I see Akashdeep being changed. I see Jadeja coming in, probably another change that is going to happen. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I totally go with you. Or I mean, it's either Washington or Jadeja. Doesn't I mean either one of them. I feel. But yeah, apart from that, whatever is said is correct. Let's see. I mean, if Prasid has a good net session or a couple of days, and maybe he can come in because of his height. You never know. But yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it should be in the.
Tejas
It
and
will be in the
Vinay,
bowling.
don't you think it's a little too early to get Ashwin out of because see, I don't know how the pink ball behaved. Let's give him a chance with a red ball. Let's see whether he's able to spin that same magic which he did in earlier years. So I would like to be a little patient with Ashwin, though I'm not a great Ashwin fan, but let's try him out for one more uh, match because constantly bringing changes that does not go very well with the confidence of the team.
No,
My thought is that, I think Ashwin was bought in because it was the pink ball test and he has experience bowling with the pink ball before. So maybe he might have been told that, hey, we are just bringing you in for this one game. And Washi will come back in the third test. That might have been the communication internally. So I do see Washi coming back. And, to your earlier point, he's not necessarily a youngster, but he's played at number 6 and averaged over 40 in the last couple of years. Mr. Jadeja can replace Rohit at number 6. That's not going to happen for sure. But I do see Washi coming back into the mix, and Ashwin sadly will miss out because Washi is a better bat than Ashwin is.
Yeah, we can't escape that fact, right? I mean, you need the batting depth. And, Brisbane is not really the kind of, traditionally, it's not the pitch where spinners have done well. Washington, at least with his height, maybe and his action, right, can generate a bit of bounce over there as well. Although I'm not really looking at him as an attacking bowler. But yeah, Nitish Reddy at number 7 and, Washington at number 8 sounds much better than, the current batting setup. So yeah, just purely because of the batting, I would still go back to.
Do you guys see Harshit Rana being continued?
No, no, absolutely not. He did well in Perth. I'll give him that. But I think when he was put under pressure, sadly, against Travis Head again, I don't want to take his name over and over again. It's just is becoming a nightmare. Maybe once he retires, probably I'll still not have a good memory of him. But yeah, whatever. Whenever he was put under pressure, I think he looked clueless. So I think it's better to go to Akashdeep or even Prasidh Krishna. Not a bad option if he's in good rhythm. So either one of them, I'd say.
Yeah, I would probably lean towards Prasidh because with his extra height and the bounce he gets, he might be a better bet. He did bowl well in the A games.
The only problem with Prasidh Krishna is that he gives away too many boundary balls if he's not in the rhythm. I mean, I've watched him for a long time, having followed Karnataka cricket for a while now. He's a really good bowler, but when he loses rhythm, as we've seen in South Africa Test matches as well, right? So we run that risk. In that sense, Akash is good, but yeah, let's see.
For some reason, I'm missing Bharat Arun. The way he guided the team in 2020 was something I am missing personally. Nonetheless, things move on.
He should have never replaced, I mean, sorry, Paras Mamre or even the current bowling coach for that matter should have never been in them, in my personal opinion. Bharat Arun has been one of the best at least in the recent past. That's all. That's what my opinion is. But I think change is the only constant, and
No, the main coach brings in his own team, right? I mean, you've seen it happen with Manchester United as well. When Rodvan was
How
doing
much
pretty
will you
well.
make Tejas cry today?
Oh man, it's been the same since yesterday. United lost, Ferrari lost the Constructors' Championship, India lost, India women's lost, Indian under-19 cricket team lost. Just been going
So
downhill.
much misery brought Tejas
Yeah.
Tejas back to the
Yeah,
show. Well,
I
now I
wanted
understood.
something positive at the end of the day, end of the weekend. So I saw the ping. I wanted to sign.
I think there's a plan there, Tejas. I think there is a plan. This is the
Yeah.
end of the year. Okay.
Yes.
They want to get you to that state so that the next year starts off and it's like the what's it, the spring, the downside of the spring, which will propel you to greater heights in the new year, and we will see
Sir, with some of these
magic.
teams, it's been a decade now.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a year issue. I share your pain, Tejas. I do share your pain with both Ferrari and Man U. So I was watching the race and really hoping, even
Yeah,
in the
something.
last lap, will Norris crash out or get a punch?
Yes.
Something.
I was literally praying in front of God. I was like, please, make something happen. That's
Like Abu Dhabi in 2021, it was, right? When Max won that
Max.
crazy race.
Michael.
Anyway, back to cricket here. We'll
Guys, I'm sorry, but I need to have a hard stop. I need to drop off.
I
Great
think Smith
talking to you
also has a
guys.
hard stop while batting. He keeps doing that.
Uh, you are anyways looking forward to end this segment with the predictions for Brisbane.
No, India will win, definitely. I think we'll go up to 1.
I
Because
think
not because we'll play well, but I still feel this is the weakest Australian team I have seen in ages. So,
Weakest.
yes.
You don't think so? The one in 2018-19, that series, it was
No,
weak.
I think Hazelwood to come in stark, and their bowling attack was pretty good. Even Nathan Lyon was bowling pretty well. But I think as a team, they're quite it's an aging team. Everyone is coming
Yeah.
at the end of so I don't really see them being a better team. So only because of that, I'd say 2-1.
Mm,
having convincing players, you would back your team to win at home. India also wasn't at its strongest best when we played England earlier this year, but barring that Hyderabad test, I think we won every other game, barring the Ranchi one pretty convincingly. So 2018-19 should have been Australia's, regardless of how India were faring. So I think Tejas does have a valid point when he says Australia is the weakest in a while.
and that's a nice thing to hear. But if it's such a weak team and winning by 10 wickets is something does not that resonate with me. But nonetheless, maybe we have to learn from our mistakes and go ahead from this. Uh, again, I've made this point again. I will be repeating myself. It's a game of uncertainties after all.
I think uh, Bumrah again has to do his magic, which he did at Perth, and I hope he can do at Brisbane. And one of Yashashvi, Gill, or Pant will have to score a big daddy 100, like Yashashvi did in the Perth test. Gill and Pant have shown promise. They are getting into the 20s, 30s, and then getting out. But one of the three will have to score a big daddy 100 for us to have a chance. Otherwise, rest of the batting looks very sus, as they say in the Gen Z lingo.
My money is on KL. KL might. He's had good brief knocks even in Adelaide. I think he's up for a big one, and he's due for a big one anyway. I think Brisbane will might be his calling, or even maybe Melbourne, where he made his debut 10 years ago. You never know.
Just
I like his
answer for your earlier question, Oreo, if Kohli has to retire right now and Gill wants to bat at 3, KL at 4, then
I would still like to see KL open.
Okay.
All right. Plenty of questions in conundrum, but plenty of changes we anticipate. Like I said earlier, since change is the only constant, we also hope for change in India's fortunes. On that note, we, the finalists at Toss the Toss, bid adieu and say sign off, and we say sign off and see you all in the next segment. Thank you all.
thank you.